Hey there, and welcome. We throw around words like genius, smart, and brilliant all the time, right? But have you ever stopped to think about what they really mean? Today, we're going to dive deep into that question and explore all the different ways a person can be intelligent.
We tend to put geniuses up on this pedestal, like they're some kind of flawless superhuman. But the truth is, even the most brilliant minds have these surprising blind spots, and that's really key to understanding that intelligence isn't about being perfect. No, it's way more complicated than that.
And this just illustrates the point perfectly. Take Albert Einstein. The guy could literally unlock the secrets of the universe, but he famously built two separate dog doors in his house, one big, one small. He totally missed the simple fact that, the little dog could have just used the big door. It just goes to show you that being a genius in one area doesn't mean you have all the common sense in another.
So, if even the biggest geniuses have their off days, what's actually important in the real world, in our jobs? It's not about being some kind of abstract genius. It's actually about a whole set of cognitive skills that we use every single day.
These right here, these are the basic tools in our mental toolbox. Things like being able to focus on a task, remembering important details, solving problems as they pop up. Now, everyone has these abilities, but we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And what's really important is, while, we're born with some natural tendencies, you can absolutely grow and expand these skills if you have the right mindset. And speaking of attention, get this. In our totally distracted world today, the average human attention span has shrunk to just 8 seconds. 8. That makes the simple ability to just pay attention one of the most valuable and, frankly, rarest resources we have. Trying to keep someone engaged is a huge challenge now.
And in the corporate world, all that brain power, all that attention is pointed toward one thing: productivity. This quote is pretty blunt, but it hits on a hard reality. Companies exist to be productive and make a profit, not necessarily for our personal comfort. So those cognitive skills we have, they're valued based on how much they contribute to the bottom line.
Okay, so if intelligence isn't just one single thing, then what is it? We're about to get into a theory that totally flips the script, suggesting there are at least 8 completely different ways to be smart.
And here's the core idea, coming from Howard Gardner at Harvard. He basically argued that our old-school view of intelligence, the kind you measure with an IQ test, is just way too narrow. Instead, we should think of intelligence as this whole spectrum of different abilities. So maybe you're not a math whiz, but you might have off-the-charts musical or interpersonal intelligence.
And here they are. You've got everything from the classic logical, mathematical smarts to what's called bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Think about a legendary athlete like Sachin Tendulkar. His muscles almost have an intelligence of their own, right? Coordinating with his brain in a fraction of a second. Or what about intrapersonal intelligence? That's all about being self-aware. Each and every one of us has our own unique mix of these.
All right, let's try a quick little test. Just picture a normal piece of paper in your head. Now, how many times do you think you can fold it perfectly in half? What's your gut say? 7? 10? More?
The answer is just 7. It's surprisingly low, isn't it? For most regular paper, after 7 folds, the layers just get too thick and it's physically impossible. Now, the world record is actually 12, but for the rest of us mere mortals, 7 is about the limit. It's a fun little example of how our big ideas can run into the hard limits of the real world.
So if we know there are all these different ways of being intelligent, why do so many companies and schools still lean so heavily on standardized tests that only measure 1 or 2? Well, the reason might not be what you think.
Okay, this is the really critical point. A lot of those so-called aptitude tests, they're not actually designed to select the best person. They're designed to eliminate as many people as possible as quickly as possible. When you've got thousands of applications for one job, it's an efficient way to make the pile smaller. But it's not about finding diverse talent, it's about making the paperwork easier. And here's the big problem with that. Somebody who has incredible people skills or amazing visual spatial intelligence might get knocked out of the running by a test that's all about pure logic and math. Their unique form of genius is never even seen, all because they were filtered out by a system that values efficiency over potential.
And that leads us to another super important form of intelligence, one that, honestly, often becomes way more critical than your IQ as you move up in your career. I'm talking about emotional intelligence, or EQ.
Just think about it for a second. Your raw intelligence and your technical skills, that might be what gets you hired in the first place. But to actually become a leader, to manage a team, to handle all the complicated social stuff at work, that takes people skills. A high IQ can get you in the door for sure, But a high EQ is what helps you lead once you're inside.
So what exactly is EQ? Well, it pretty much boils down to these 4 pillars. It all starts with you: self-awareness and self-management. That's about understanding and controlling your own emotions. And from there, it moves outward to social awareness and social management, which is all about understanding other people and building strong relationships. It's really a journey from mastering yourself to being able to connect with the world around you.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground, from Einstein's dog doors to the limits of folding paper, all the way to the power of EQ. So now, let's bring it all back home. Let's talk about what this means for you and for discovering your own unique talents.
I really love this quote. We spend so much of our lives trying to be smart, in the conventional sense, chasing these really complex goals. But sometimes the most powerful intelligence is found in simplicity, in just being a good human, in understanding ourselves, and in finding what actually makes us happy.
And that leads me to the last question I want to leave you with. After thinking about all these different ways to be intelligent, from linguistic to kinesthetic, from interpersonal to intrapersonal, what's your combination? What is that unique brand of genius that only you bring to the world? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.